So, what I want to talk about is how to actually find a career that makes you happy, or maybe being happier in your career. So, if you don't know me, I'm an associate professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. Actually, Professor Dave Maslach. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There were so many people that helped me out that I wanted to pay the favor forward and help you out as much as I possibly can. So, I want to talk about how the first thing I want to really make clear is that there's really no magic bullet to make yourself happy or make you feel happy in your career. And there's probably really nothing that I can tell you at this moment that is going to make you happy. So if that's what you're looking for, then I'd recommend for you to stop this video and go find another video that is going to promise some sort of magic bullet. But what I can tell you is that making yourself happy and feeling happy really comes from doing things, in my personal opinion, in my belief. And the moments where you feel the happiest and you feel great is the moments when you're actually working in the process of actually doing some sort of work. Now, I can't say that work is going to feel great. You're probably not going to feel joy often when you're working, but you might feel some sort of source of or feelings of contentment or feeling like you belong in doing something when you're in the moment of actually doing that work. So looking into the prospect of actually working and doing something, you often don't feel that great because you're sort of in that anticipation moment. And then looking back, you often don't feel necessarily all that great because you thought that you were going to accomplish a lot more. So if you're anything like me, that's the way that I feel every day. But it's in the moment of actually doing things that you feel great with the things that you're actually trying to accomplish. And happiness is a really tricky thing to sort of put your fingers on. And I think a lot of people get it confused with, the notions of smiling and laughing all the time. And I don't think, so first of all, a lot of people just aren't like that. That's just not their personality. We have, in a population of people, we have a wide distribution of what people are actually like. Some people are really smiley and happy and go lucky, and some people just aren't. It's just not part of who they are. And probably a lot of people fall in between and where we all sort of stand. So often we are what we are, but we can sort of learn things and develop things as individuals to make ourselves feel more content with who we are as an individual. And I also want to point out that being unhappy, that's not a bad thing. Often we get confused that happiness or unhappiness is a bad thing, that it is, these moments of that they're moments that we should sort of get rid of in our life. But happiness is a very unusual construct, just like love is, or just like affection is. There's really not a great sense of what it is. There's many different sort of constructs or sub-constructs that are affiliated with it and how we actually feel. It's like when I was telling my students last week is, I might have love towards my wife. That's going to be a lot different than my love towards my work, or my happiness in my family is probably going to be a lot different than the happiness that I feel in work and what it actually means to do that. And so it's a really difficult sort of thing to put your hands around to make sense of. But what I can say, and the other thing I wanted to actually point out is often it adapts to who you are as an individual. Now, I'm fortunate enough to get to know some really wonderful people that are incredibly smart and incredibly accomplished over my course of my career. That's the cool thing with being a professor, is you do get to bump into amazing individuals that are really just truly are amazing. And often you would be surprised, even when they're well accomplished and people recognize them as, these incredible human beings from the outside, that they personally are unhappy with where they are and who they are as individuals. And so it's kind of an interesting thing that we adapt based on what we are doing. And so the sense of self, of sense of, I'm content and happy, that is a very individual thing. I struggle with this all the time. It's something that I really truly struggle with in terms of getting to this sense of where I feel comfortable with who I am. And so I have to constantly be reminding myself that this is really cool to do some of these things. And you're probably a lot like me, where I actually have to do those things and remind myself. And so there's a couple of questions or things that I have to sort of think about, and maybe you can think about these as well. The first question is are you actually doing good in this world? Are you actually going to be proud of yourself in 10 years or 20 years for doing that particular thing? So this, again, doing good in this world is very debatable and what that means, and we can sort of debate on, the value of doing different things. And there's lawyers out there that will definitely get into that discussion of what actually means to do good. But what I want you to sort of take this sort of lay view of it is that if you actually do this thing and you continue to do this thing for a while, are you going to be happy with who you are as an individual because you're actually doing good in this world and whatever that looks like for you? And you have to define what that looks like for you. So if you are collecting garbage off the street, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are a terrible person. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you are lower in status in society in any sort of way. And you might actually be doing a heck of a lot of good in this world that is remarkable for you. And we'd all appreciate you. That's the cool thing. Maybe you are doing something like you're doing personal care work in a hospital, and you are cleaning up sheets, for example, and making sure that the beds are made and doing things like that. That's an incredible job, and you're doing incredible things. And yet we have this sort of sense that you should be smiling and laughing and stuff like that. But often those are really powerful jobs, and there's lots of sort of mundanity. It's the same thing every day, but those things are really incredibly important for society to do those things. And we have to appreciate the people that actually do those things. And you can be proud of doing that because you have done a world of good. And maybe you're working at 7-Eleven right now. You're watching this and it's midnight. Hopefully there will be somebody that will be working at 7-Eleven and watching this at midnight, and you might be thinking like, what am I doing here? This is what am I doing with myself? Well, you might be doing something where you are working this midnight shift to ensure that your family is doing okay during the day. And that is something that is incredibly important to be proud of. There's so many immigrants in this world that do that make this personal sacrifice where they go and they do something that is quote unquote below them, but they are doing something to support other people. And so you can be extremely proud of who you are by doing that particular thing. And you have to acknowledge that. The other thing that I want you to sort of think about is that, are you marching forward towards something? I think that this is a really important thing for us as human beings, is to march towards something, whatever that thing is, and to have projects, whatever that thing is. And I'm not saying in your career, often, or you might be watching this because it's for your career and you're thinking of getting an education. Or, maybe you are, because lots of people watch that in this channel and lots of people are in graduate school and stuff that are watching this channel. But, maybe it is something that you're doing outside of work that you can feel that you're marching towards. And so that work is an actual reprieve from you marching towards that thing. So raising a family, for example, is incredibly important. And, this world is so much better off when you dedicate your time to raising a family, or maybe you're part of a religious organization of some sort, and you need to participate in a more active role where you can dedicate your time to that, but your work is going to suffer. And that's perfectly fine and wonderful thing to do. But having that marching towards something is an incredibly important thing for us to have that sense of accomplishment and knowing that we've accomplished something in this world. Whatever that looks like, it's often a very difficult sort of construct to sort of put together. But having that sense of accomplishment, I think, is very important in actually doing things that you feel motivated in this work to, or in this world to do these particular things. Now, the last thing is I really want you to sort of question yourself is, are you really truly a decent person in this world? Are you doing things that you would be proud of as an individual because you are just a wonderful person? And if you're having struggles with that at this moment, then really, truly work on that. And you can work on that, right? So if you're feeling bummed out at this moment because you are really, you're wondering about who you are and what things that you're doing, well, you can get up after watching this video, or right now, get up and do things that are actually proving to yourself that you're a decent person. Really simple things: brushing your teeth, combing your hair. I actually don't comb my hair. I kind of brushed it over. But, saying hi to somebody, going outside, going for a walk, just being active, getting away from feeling like you're in a funk and getting to the sense where you're actually doing things is such an important thing. And that's how you really just be a decent person, is you go out and you just do things where you're just making a positive impact on yourself and other people around you. And so how do you do that? You just do very simple things. You do things that are just inherently, minor, but that's how you get things done and that's how you accomplish things. So if you're stuck at this moment in your career, or you feel like you're stuck in your career, what you can do is just start doing decent things. So saying hi to different people. You can go get a coffee for somebody. Maybe you have a lot of idle time. Go get a coffee for somebody. Maybe you have, maybe there's somebody that's next to you or in an office space that, you haven't talked to in a while. Go and talk to them. These simple things are really important for not only them, but also for you to know that you're accomplishing things and doing things and becoming a decent person overall. So that's all I want to talk about today in this video. Hopefully you do go find a career that actually makes you happy. I'm going to tell you this at this moment. If you're watching this channel because you're thinking education is going to change that, it may, but you can't really promise that in any sort of way. What we can promise is that you can work on this yourself. All right, so good luck and happy searching. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.